Hey everybody, Felix Staffelbaker here. I wanted to make a video that a lot of people aren't necessarily taking into account, and that's the fact that Bitcoin is a mature asset. Bitcoin is a lot more mature than some of the major tech stocks and big company stocks that we see on Wall Street. What I mean by that is that Bitcoin runs 8,760 hours a year for trading, for markets, for being able to use the network. When you look at a stock like Tesla, it's only able to trade 1,750 hours per year. You know, they have to go down for holidays, they have to go down for weekends. All these kinds of things affect the traditional market. And when you look at Bitcoin being able to trade nonstop 24/7, rain or shine, holiday or Sunday, we can actually see that Bitcoin ends up being 60 years when you compare it to the amount of time that Tesla has ran. Bitcoin has been running the equivalent of 60 years. Now, for anybody to say that Bitcoin doesn't have a lengthy track record, a lengthy time to be able to mature, is simply not taking the basics of how the market works into an account. Kathy Wood broke this down pretty well, but you have to look. 60 years is pretty mature for any market. That's, roughly the give or take a decade. That's the lifespan of a human being. You would think that a person would be mature by age 60. Why wouldn't a market that has the equivalent of 60 years worth of trading already in its first 12 years, why wouldn't that be a mature market as well? I think, a lot of people, when you start to dive into what people's critiques of Bitcoin are, what their shortcomings that they feel of Bitcoin are, especially with things like the energy, the globe uses like 120 terawatt hours of energy a year type of thing. Bitcoin uses 1/10 of 1% of the energy per year. 1/10 of 1%. And you got to think that all of the energy that is released when you mine oil or all those types of things, the little flame that comes out the top, all of that could be harnessed and captured by Bitcoin to be able to use as energy. And what Bitcoin does is really capture a percentage of the wasted energy that's already going on in the world. Every day the sun gives us 1,000 times more energy than we use. So, I personally use through the Sun Exchange and working with I think it's a blueberry farm called Nimbe Fresh, and I'm actually invested to where I use solar energy to mine Bitcoin in Africa, and then it comes directly to a wallet I have in a security deposit box. I never even have to touch it. So I'm actually more green and have a less carbon footprint than most of these people who are complaining that Bitcoin is a waste of energy or doesn't use green energy or is using too much energy. And, a lot of times people just don't look into what's actually happening, but Bitcoin is in fact the greenest technology that we have, especially when you take a look at the current banking system and the amount of power that it uses, the amount of destruction it causes to forests, gold mining or lithium mining, all these types of rare earth minerals that you literally have to dig in the ground and destroy ecosystems to be able to collect a meaningful amount of. Bitcoin, you just literally solve for equations, complex equations on a computer, which is way more efficient and way more ethical and way more mature than most of these other markets. Like, we've surpassed the physical age and actually started becoming mature to where now we can do things digitally and not have to affect the environment. Or if we do, it's actually in a positive way. Because if you think about it, capturing some of that already wasted energy that comes from the sun every day, or from the mining of oil and all these types of things, Bitcoin wins hands down against every single one of them. Yet we keep hearing people who are ignorant of the facts complain that Bitcoin's not green, when the whole incentive of Bitcoin is you get a whole Bitcoin if you find a block using a miner, so that you would go to where the energy is the cheapest already. So especially if you are running a sophisticated company, you already have the ability to actually physically move to where the incentives are the cheapest energy. And that will continue for those who are actually playing the miner game. And that's why a lot of the Bitcoin FUD from Elon Musk is kind of just a game that they're using to bring in regulations that were already trying to bring in and just needed a sorry excuse. But we see them. We can, obviously see how this is going. They're basically scared, so they're having to make their move in order to not lose their power. So, Bitcoin is a very mature asset. It's been trading 60 years worth of hours. As far as, a stock like Tesla, it uses 0.1% of the entire yearly energy consumption. And, we could really use Bitcoin to save a lot of these things that people are complaining about. Your carbon footprint goes down by using something like Bitcoin, where you just are environmentally friendly and compliant with a more nature side of finance, rather than having to go into the dirt and rip up forests and dig down deep to try to get these rare earth minerals. So something to think about. Bitcoin is mature. Don't let anybody dissuade you from that. It also is green. Don't let anybody dissuade you from that. Stoffel Baker out.